A 1-year-old blows out a single candle. Balloons. Cake smeared on tiny fingers. Somewhere in that room, her mother is already counting down the hours until she disappears forever. Cassandra Robinson was 25 years old. She had a plan. Tonight was the night she was finally going to leave. She never got the chance. For 4 months, nobody knew where she was. Not her family, not her friends, not the daughter she had just watched turn one. And when police finally found her, she wasn't in a hospital, and she wasn't in a shelter, and she wasn't starting over somewhere new. She was sealed inside a steel drum in an abandoned trailer on a rural beef farm outside Pensacola, Florida. This is the story of the man who put her there, and the business partner who watched him do it, and still, somehow, walked away with barely a fraction of the punishment he deserved. If cases like this keep you up at night, wondering how anyone gets away with this long, hit subscribe, because the deeper this one goes, the colder it gets. Pensacola, Florida, June 8, 2018. A woman walks into a police station and asks officers to check on her sister. She hasn't heard from Cassandra since February. Not a call, not a text, not a single post online. 4 months of silence from a new mother is not a red flag. It's a siren. The sister explains the situation carefully, almost defensively, the way people do when they know the story sounds worse out loud than it does in their own head. Cassandra, she says, had been struggling. Mental health issues, maybe drugs. She'd gotten harder to reach once she got serious with her boyfriend. His name is Henry Steiger, 53 years old, self-described entrepreneur, multiple businesses, always traveling, the kind of man who is hard to pin down, literally and figuratively. And then the sister says something that quietly reframes the entire conversation. Whenever Henry moved, Cassandra moved with him. So if he'd relocated recently, that's probably where she was too. Officers pick up the phone and call the boyfriend. Henry Steiger sounds calm, almost rehearsed. He tells them Cassandra brought up a very specific plan months earlier, that she intended to breastfeed their daughter until her first birthday, and on that exact day, she was leaving. She wanted space. She wanted him to respect it. According to Henry, that's exactly what happened. She left that night, right on schedule, and he simply let the silence continue. He assumed she needed time. He says they never discussed what would happen if time turned into forever. It's a tidy explanation. It's also completely at odds with basic human behavior. Mothers who walk away from relationships do not typically walk away from their 1-year-old daughters for 4 straight months without a single phone call. Something about this story doesn't survive contact with reality. Henry Steiger wasn't just an eccentric entrepreneur with a coffee business. He was on federal probation for fraud. When detectives track him down at his new address, he opened the door.
Yes, hello?
Yes, that's Henry.
Yes. Yes, I just got your message to call you back.
You said that you last saw her February 1st, right?
Yeah. She says, I'm breastfeeding this child till she's 1 year old, and on her first birthday, I'm leaving. And I want you to respect my wishes not to contact me. And she left at night, and, she was going to take a break.
Yeah. So
I just thought it was a break. I was just letting time go by and letting her give her space and letting her take the time she needs, and we never talked about what would happen if she never came back.
A friend of Cassandra's comes forward with something troubling. Cassandra had found messages suggesting Henry was arranging to secretly meet with people behind her back. Conversations that made her deeply uneasy to the point that she started packing. She'd caught him being unfaithful. She felt pressured. She felt like the relationship had shifted into something she no longer recognized. Then there's Carla, Henry's ex. Carla tells detectives that not long after Cassandra gave birth, Henry reached out to her directly. He wanted to pay her hourly to come babysit the baby. His reasoning was strange enough to stick in her memory. He wanted the child around Carla's aura, her sweetness. He told her the baby reminded him of her. And then, almost offhandedly, he said something far darker. He was only keeping Cassandra around, he told Carla, for the breast milk.
shower. I just can't get anything done. Like, you know, and I want the baby to be around your aura and your sweetness. And she's like, she reminds me a lot of you. And he's like, so we argue, and that's the only thing he really said, like that they argue. And then he's like, yeah, right now I'm only using her for breast milk.
Cassandra finally said the words out loud. She was done breastfeeding. She was taking her daughter. She was leaving. That was the last confirmed sighting of her alive. On June 29th, 2018, detectives arrest Henry Steiger, not for Cassandra's disappearance yet, but on unrelated charges. It gives them time to talk to the people who might know more than they're saying. One of those people is Julian Mazur, Henry's business partner. At first, Julian plays it safe. He barely knew Cassandra, he says. He only helped Henry move some things into a new place. But his body tells detectives a different story. He's sweating. His hands won't stay still. His mouth is so dry he can barely get words out. He blames it on nicotine withdrawal. Nobody in that room believes that. Detectives press him on the vacation story, the same one Henry gave police. A mother of a newborn does not vanish for 4 months on a spontaneous getaway, leaving behind no calls, no messages, and no baby. Julian starts to crack under the pressure. He admits Henry told him Cassandra had gone on this supposed vacation. But when detectives ask him point blank whether he killed her, whether Henry told him he killed her, whether Henry ever told him where she actually was, Julian says no, no, and no again. Investigators don't buy it. They tell him plainly. They believe he's lying, and they are not going to stop digging until they find out exactly what he's hiding. At this point in the investigation, put yourself in the detective's shoes for a second. No confession, no body, a suspect calmly reciting a story about a 4-month vacation, and a nervous business partner who clearly knows more than he's saying. What would your next move have been? July 11th, 2018. Detectives learn about a trailer Henry kept on a rural property, a beef farm, owned by a man he'd met through his coffee and honey business dealings. It's isolated, overgrown, the kind of place nobody stumbles onto by accident.
I smelled what I know to be decomposition of a human body.
Tell you, the smell of human decomposition is unmistakable. They get a search warrant. They pull the trailer's keys from Henry's own residence. And when they finally force the door open, they find 2 green 55-gallon drums sitting inside. The first is empty. The second is sealed shut. It takes tools to break it open. And when they finally do, the stench inside is overwhelming enough to confirm what everyone already suspects before they even look. Cassandra Robinson. She has been inside that drum since February 1st, 2018, the night of her daughter's first birthday. The night she said she was leaving. She isn't wearing the nightgown she had on during the party earlier that evening. She's dressed in going-out clothes. Real clothes. The kind of outfit someone puts on when they're actually walking out the door for good. She had gotten ready to leave. She had changed her clothes. She had made the decision and acted on it. Someone made sure she never got any further than that room. The autopsy that follows can't determine an exact cause of death. 4 months of decomposition inside a sealed drum destroys most of that evidence. But the medical examiner doesn't need a precise mechanism to reach a conclusion. The manner of death is ruled a homicide. Cassandra's sister later described
Cassandra's body in a drum. It was terrible, like she was garbage. Why would someone do that?
From that trailer, Henry Steiger sits down across from detectives again. They don't tell him right away what they found. They let him talk first. And what he talks about is himself. He complains about being separated from his daughter. He describes himself as broken. Not once does he ask about Cassandra, missing for over 4 months. Then detectives change the tone of the room. They describe the trailer, the odor, the 2 drums. They tell him they know the keys came from his house. They ask if he loved Cassandra. He says yes, but not in the way you'd expect. More like a caretaker, he explains. He insists he was still playing the role, even after learning he was the baby's father. Detectives lay it all out for him. The trailer, the photos, the smell, the search warrant, the drums. And that's when Henry Steiger says something that will define how investigators and later the public understand him. He says he's at peace with what occurred.
A while ago that she loved you, right?
For sure.
For sure. Did you love her?
I do, but not in the same way. More like a caretaker.
After you found out you were the father, things kind of changed a little bit,
Not
right?
really.
No, didn't.
No, because I was playing the role.
Gotcha. Did she ever use that against you to say, you f***ing me, I'm gonna take the
She used that against me before she knew it was mine. Before I knew it was mine, she did that all along.
When she said that she was going to go on her vacation, did she say that she was going to take the baby with her?
No, that she needed a vacation from the schedule.
I gotcha. And you were like, okay, well, you're not going to take the baby, I'm cool.
It wasn't like that. It was like I was sympathetic to her reason for wanting to go, which was the schedule. The schedule was driving her nuts.
Okay, right. We've been doing a lot of investigating since we talked. We've done a lot of search warrants. So myself and Chad, 2 days ago, brought Mr. Johnson in, Shelby. And he explained, that he had originally met you, I think, through Meek and Honey. Mm-hmm. And he said that you had a trailer on his property. So I went over to the trailer yesterday and took some pictures of it. I'll show it to you. Let's see, this is it. So we went over and we looked at it, and I detected an odor that I recognize very well for doing this job. And it's the odor of decomposition of a human body. Okay? So that immediately put my head to spinning. Okay? So we got a search warrant for it. And the keys for these locks, do you know where those keys were at? The keys were at your house. So we got the search warrant and we pulled the trailer out and we opened up the door. These containers were here. Do you recognize these containers? So something happened. I don't want my mind to be spinning and everybody else's mind to be spinning. I just need to know what happened, and I need to know it from you. I don't know what happened, but I know in my heart I don't think it was a planned and on purpose thing, because you love your baby, and I don't think you would do anything to harm her or harm her mother.
Of course not. It is a story that I don't think anyone would believe, and that's my problem.
This is a heavy load for you to be having to deal with. I can imagine what you've been going through, the stress that you've been under.
No, not about that.
The worry.
I'm at peace with what occurred. I understand it.
What happened?
I'm not happy about it, but I understand it. I don't think I can get anyone else to understand it, so I haven't explained it to anyone. I haven't shared it with anyone. I don't know how to tell this story, or I would have told it. I would have told it that night if I'd known how to tell it. I just assumed that it would look like something I was responsible for.
Detectives turned their full attention back to Julian Mazer. His first story was that he simply dropped Henry off on February 1st and left. Phone records tell a different truth. They placed Julian back at the property that same night, hours after he claimed to be gone. In the second interrogation, there's no more patience left in the room. Detectives tell him what they found: a woman's body, decomposed, sealed inside a barrel in a trailer. And they ask him why he still won't say what he saw. Julian breaks. He describes Cassandra that night, frantically packing, grabbing her things, telling Henry she was leaving and taking the baby with her. And then he says the words that finally give this case its ending. Henry strangled her. Right there, in the middle of her own attempt to walk out the door with her daughter, Henry Steiger killed her. Julian was there. Julian knew. And for 4 months, while Cassandra's family searched for her, while her sister filed a welfare check.
Why don't you want to see it?
You're seeing a dead body and I don't want to.
Well,
Julie, tell us what happened.
tell us what happened that night.
They said that she was frantically packing, that she was grabbing all of her stuff, and she was telling him she's going to leave, grabbing the baby. And he said he strangled her.
While a 1-year-old grew up without her mother, Julian Mazer said nothing. Henry Steiger's trial begins on June 18, 2019. His defense doesn't deny that Cassandra died in his home. It offers a different explanation entirely, that he found her already dead in the laundry room, a plastic bag tied around her face, and concluded she had taken her own life. It's a story that asks a jury to believe that a man who discovered his partner's body chose not to call police, not to seek help, not to tell a single living person, but instead sealed her inside a drum, hid it in an abandoned trailer on a remote beef farm, and quietly resumed his life with their daughter. The jury doesn't buy the suicide narrative, but they also don't convict him of first-degree murder. Henry Steiger is found guilty of second-degree murder. He is sentenced to life in prison. Julian Mazer, the man who watched it happen and helped keep the secret for months, faced accountability that many felt fell far short of what his silence had cost Cassandra's family. Cassandra Robinson did everything right, by the only measure that should have mattered. She recognized a relationship that wasn't serving her. She made a plan. She waited until a milestone that meant something, her daughter's first birthday, and she prepared to walk out on her own terms, in her own clothes, with her own child. She never got past the door. For 4 months, a missing mother was explained away as a woman on vacation, a woman with issues, a woman who simply needed space. It took her own sister refusing to accept the silence to force the question that should have been asked from day one. Where is she really? The answer was 90 minutes away, sealed in a barrel, on a beef farm that most people would never think to look. Henry Steiger is serving life in prison. But life doesn't undo 4 months of searching, or a first birthday that became a final memory, or a daughter who will grow up only knowing her mother through a case file. Cassandra Robinson tried to do the one thing that should have kept her safe. She left. Somewhere between that decision and the front door, she ran out of time. Do you think justice was truly served here? Or does a second-degree conviction let something darker go unnamed? Let us know what you think in the comments below.